Folks, we are back. The Breakdown Boys. Wade, Sensei, what's up, my brother? How you doing?
Doing great, feeling great.
New microphone set up. Hold up.
Look at us here. I got the light flickering in the back. Don't even know you can see it.
I can see it, yeah.
I have to put a disclaimer now. I don't
A
know.
little flick of the light there. You know what I'm saying? Listen, the Breakdown.
Stepping up the game.
I'm saying the Breakdown LLC, we're going to new heights right now. But we have some things that have been happening in the last week that we have to talk about. And then specifically, I'm talking announcements, brother. Have you seen Misfits Boxing? Now, let's be honest. We, as fantasy bookers, are pretty damn good at what we do. I thought we had some pretty good cards. But the reality of this card, Sensei, it's unfolding to be possibly one of the best cards that we've seen in the influencer boxing space. And you know why that is?
At it again.
You know why that is? Because we are starting to get the fights we want. Let's start with the first one right now. Salt Papi and Josh Brueckner is announced. It's official. We haven't talked about this. Give me your thoughts.
Two guys that nobody wants to fight. That's typically guys. The fact that we're getting them to fight each other already, like early in Misfits.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Just the guys that no one wants to fight. I'm interested to know what the weight. Do we have what the weight class is?
So
what the weight is?
That's a good question. I am currently going to go. We're going to go to Salt Papi's Twitter because he actually responded to this. He said, someone asked him, I think, what the weight was going to be. And someone said this, what's the catch weight? And Salt Papi said 185 pounds.
Damn, so Salt, Salt's
he's coming up.
Let's get it.
He's coming up.
Let's get it, bro.
Now, in your opinion, is that a good move? So Salt have maybe said you come down to 180, come down to 170. I think that should have been the play, but I don't know how things went behind the scenes. But him coming to 185 is just giving Josh, like, cool,
Salt should have said no, bro. We
come
gotta
down
drive
here,
you out, dog.
Yes,
you gotta make you cut that weight like you used to when you were
because Josh can make it. Josh can make down to 75 at least.
Josh has done it as a professional.
Yes,
he can do it.
So that's a dub for Josh before we even start the whole thing off.
178 at least.
That's what I'm saying. So it's tough, man. But Papi he's a gangster, bro. Like we talked about guys ducking fights. I don't know that this is the case, but who else was stepping up to fight Brook? You didn't hear a peep out of nobody when he won that fight versus Chase. So, Salt Papi not only taking the fight.
He had to fight somebody 50 pounds heavier than him.
That's what I'm saying. So, not only Salt takes the fight, but he says, no, we'll do it at 185. So, it's just, we'll give you that, hold that. Fair play, man. I like this. This is what we wanted, and it's a tough fight for both guys. Like, when we talk about the fight itself and how it's going to play out, I genuinely don't know. I don't know the rounds, first off, but you look at a guy like Salt Papi, a clean, technical boxer, a guy that's not only has experience that we've now found out, but he's flashy. He has good anticipation. His reactions are great. Hands are a little low, which scare me sometimes, but he fights well like that. He has this open field of vision that he can see everything. Josh, though, big, strong. We know this. Faster than you think. Does have some decent setups, goes to some shots, and if he didn't land the shots that he wanted to on Chase, but if he lands those shots, buddy, taking heads off shoulders.
He was reaching so high, he was trying to practically jumping on each punch.
It was Mario just punching.
So it's interesting because you mentioned it with Salt when his hands low.
I know, man.
Because Salt Papi is, when you watch, if you look at all of his street fights, if you look at it's the way he goes in, the way he approaches his sparring and stuff. He's a guy who likes to be on the outside, right? Obviously, he went in on his last fight because there was no threat there.
Right.
He likes to counter. He likes to stay on the outside. He likes those slapping hooks.
And he'll bait you.
He likes those lead hook shots as well, and he's trying to bait you and counter you. But Brueckner, with that MMA style, that grueling style, will lean on you, attack first, and he's got long arms.
I was gonna say,
if Bruck can have that jab, it's gonna be super tough for Papi.
And he's a combination puncher for a guy like Josh. You think MMA guys, they're gonna throw 1-2 shots. He's a combination puncher. Go back and watch the Chase fight. Even again, they weren't landing clean. He throws combinations upstairs and down while he comes forward. And again, you have Papi, who's a sniper, so maybe in between those, he just throws one and lands it, which is scary. because catching force with force, even if you're a guy like Josh who's a big dude, Papi can crack. And if he gets this done, Sensei, if Papi beats Brook, because I'm not saying that one guy should be favored over another, but just the challenge of fighting a guy closer to his weight. And again, no one's taken that challenge outside of Salt Papi. He deserves, I don't even know what it would be, the slim fight, the KSI. I don't know who it would be, but he deserves
Twitter,
that next.
I said, on Twitter, I said, I don't know if you saw, you probably saw it.
What you say?
The winner of this gets KSI, and then I'll fight the loser.
There you go.
I said, I'll take
on short notice.
Though.
On short notice.
On short notice.
Listen, you're right though. The winner of this one needs to get that marquee big name fight. If it's KSI, awesome.
Whoever wins this it's a huge win. It's a huge
massive
dub.
It might be like, okay, KSI has, in my opinion, the biggest win for influencers. Like Jake has the biggest win in influencer boxing, but as far as influencer versus influencer, KSI beating Logan was massive. Jake has the biggest win beating Anderson and arguably the biggest win by knocking out Tyron the way he did. But for the next best thing, it's Slim over Temper, but this one would be more, I think. This one would be a lot more. Because the way Josh is revered, the way Salt Papi has gained a crazy following, right? And people respect his boxing skill. The winner of this one, like you said, it deserves marquee matchup. We can't do predictions right now just because we're so far away. I want to take more time. We might even have both guys on the show, so you guys might see him here. You know what I'm saying? We're working on it. But like, in your opinion, how does a fight like this, without picking, how does a fight like this play out? Like, how do you see Josh fighting Salt, and how do you see Salt fighting Josh?
Expect Josh to do his best to keep this at range and be very selective of when he attacks.
Yeah.
And to be very prepared. He's a professional fighter, so we're not going to see a guy who's just hitting mitts and doing sparring and just kind of going out there winging it. We're going to very specific game plan for Salt Papi, and I think Salt is going to have to switch it up a little bit. He has to get out of character because his hands down, lean back style, how he kind of creeps forward and tries to find his way in. It's going to be tough against Brook because Brook's going to try to run him over and cause a bunch of these clinch situations. Papi's going to have to fight off his front foot at times, and I haven't really seen that. Right? We haven't seen Salt Papi be able to fight off his front foot and look to put that forward pressure in and use his slipping and his head movement while attacking forward. Little Anthony Taylor, little pretty boy-esque.
There you go.
So if he can do that, that's going to go in his favor. But that to me is the boxing storyline. How does Salt deal with Brooks?
I think you said it. I think you said it. Like when you say Josh is going to try to run him over, like obviously it's controlled chaos, it's controlled pressure that Josh has. Because even I've watched Josh fight. He's not a guy that's just going to wing it and just go in. He's very calculated. He will set up, but he's going to try to run Salt Papi over. And maybe that plays into Papi's hands as being a counter striker, right? Being able to find one in between the chaos and lay it on him.
Wow.
I'm telling you, that happens, and I'm going to lose my fucking mind. But that's honestly, like, it's so tough to call this fight because either way, we're going to get probably, and I've already said this, but probably the next biggest superstar in influencer boxing is going to come out of this fight, bar none. But if I'm looking at this fight, I think kind of what you said, but I lean into the fact that Josh is going to be more patient than anybody that Papi has seen, and it might be just a little, I don't know, I don't want to say it'll frustrate him because I want to see him on that front foot and see how he does with someone's not just attack, even though, again, he ran right through Worski. It's not going to be that, right, obviously.
Right.
You're going to have to do something on that front foot because Josh will be front foot pressure, but it'll be a patient, like you said, behind the jab, and then when he gets to the spot or backs up a guy like Papi into the ropes, that's when the heavy combos come out, right? That's when tee-off time happens.
Heavy bag.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like you can't...
Seconds left in the round. Coach is yelling.
You can't do that. You can't just be, okay, all right, where's it at? He can't employ the sensei route here. It can't happen. Yeah. It cannot.
It's interesting you say that because I know, like, okay, if you're asking me, these are two guys who have been, like, at least on the radar for people that I've been asked to either fight before or asked to fight, right? So you have to approach this fight, both of them completely differently. Brook, you got to find a way to work to the body, fight off the front foot, push him back, don't let him push you back. So PAPI, you got to, what Kenny did with me was just jab, jab, and
it's a feint fest, bro.
And look for the feint fest and try to not get those clinch when you're in tight, you know what I mean? Because you know what he's looking for.
Yep.
He's a southpaw, and those shots come from weird angles. So stylistically, it's just two totally different guys. So that's the most interesting part, that it's not just like speed and agility and just who's the better puncher.
Right.
They get a real chess match here.
As far as skill is concerned, you know, we've seen Waleed and Dean, very high skill level. We've seen you and Kenny, high skill level kind of match up there, a pure boxing match. Sure. This is probably up there. Again, you exclude Jake because of the things he's doing now, but this is probably up there with some of the highest skill level guys that we've seen go against each other. Not seen in the ring, because we've seen Slim, high skill level. We've seen guys that have shown well, but this is going to be two guys that are really, really high level trying to play this chess match. And I think people are going to get lured into the fact, oh, this is going to be a war, bloodbath. I don't think so. I think it's going to be very technically like chess match, back and forth. Who's going to make the right decision and get to the spot first and more often. That's what I think happens. And honestly, I could see this as much as it could go 2 rounds, someone's getting dropped. I could see this going to decision, man. I really could see this being a decision fight. Like one of those ones we get super amped up about. And for guys like me and you, we stay amped up about because it's a technical display. But I could also see this being a traditional boxing match where everyone looks clean and the jabs are coming out nice, and this goes to the judge's scorecard. I'm not saying that's the case, but
who do you think? I'm pretty sure Kenny and I's fight is we're #1 for the most amount of feints in YouTube influencer boxing.
Feint fest, bro.
Do you think they have more feints? Do you think they beat us? I don't know.
I think Josh does. I think Josh is gonna feint like crazy to try to just, because again, he's gonna be front foot, right? And I feel like PAPI is gonna do a lot of shoulder feinting, because he loves shoulder feinting with the chin jutted out. It's a lot of right? But I don't see him doing a lot of jab, feint stuff like that like Josh does. Like Josh gives you high-low. He sticks that lead hand out like Kenny does. He sticks that lead hand out, gives you looks. But I see PAPI giving shoulder feints, right? I see him just rolling those shoulders, jutting his chin like, come on, big boy, like come hit me. And I see Josh maybe taking the bait a little bit, but just with that feint and then saying, going in. So
slugging them.
I could see that. I could see that being the case, but this is a banger, man. I'm so fucking excited for it. We're going to do picks as we get closer, so don't worry. But for now, we'll leave the question to you guys. What do you think of this fight? Salt PAPI, Josh Brueckner. Who wins? Why? And how does the fight look? Are we looking at a bloodbath, a war? Or are we looking at a technical boxing match? Let us know.